This is part three of my major project, the 8 common leadership styles. For me, I'm going to be focusing on the kind of leadership style that I would like to develop, but also the kind of leadership styles that I've had managers, the kind of leadership styles that they've had. I'll start off with the first person I'm going to talk about is my current manager for the fuel center, and she's a mix of these different styles. But if I were to choose one style that's more dominant for her, it'd be laissez faire. She really, because laissez faire focuses on trusting others to their word, keep their word, monitoring performance and giving feedback, and then knows what's happening but not directly involved. For us out there, there's only one person out there at a time, so she really has to try and trust us to do what we're supposed to do, such as cleaning and stocking or filling out the correct paperwork and putting it into the correct places or entering fuel deliveries. Most of the time, it's basically just her trusting us that we'll do it and not leaving everything else for the next person or for her to do it. The other kind of leadership style she uses would be charismatic. She's a charismatic person. She's very outgoing. Um, she tries to influence everybody into getting their work done and making sure that everyone knows what we're supposed to be doing at any time that we're working. Also, another thing that she does to try and raise our morale is she will talk to managers about certain problems that we have out there in the fuel kiosk, and she just doesn't take any kind of disrespect from anybody. And that's one thing I look up to with her is if a manager is being unfair or being disrespectful, she will talk back to that manager. I've seen her cuss managers, like store managers, out. I've seen her cuss them out. I've seen her fight for us to be able to have certain things out there, such as a chair, because standing up all day definitely starts to hurt your feet at some point. And the other kind, also back to the laissez faire. She does try to give feedback to us all the time on whether what we're doing is effective or not. She tries to get us to understand that certain things in our job is because the job's very easy, and when you start to train for it, there's not much that you have to learn other than using the register and learning names of stuff, of products like cigarettes, and learning where stuff is located in the coolers and in the shelves outside. But with her feedback, she tries to help us become better at what we're doing, as in becoming more efficient and using less time to get stuff done. She's a little bit of command and control. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, she'll get on you. She'll report, like, she'll write you up for not doing your job. One guy that we used to have never would never clean. He'd always leave it a mess, and just he would never do what he's supposed to do. So she wrote him up multiple times, and they eventually took him out, moved him back inside. So she holds you to it. She holds you to what you're supposed to be doing, and she if you slack off, then she'll definitely say something to you about it. Innovative. She's not innovative. She's not. I wouldn't say she's a servant, because even though we work for a company, um, it's not the kind of company where she will just listen to what they tell her to do. She'll just do what she wants, kind of. And really, I wouldn't say she's any of these other ones. Transformational, not really. Situational, not really. Servant, not really. Pace setter. Yeah, she's a little bit of pace setter. It also ties in with her command and control and her laissez faire. Would be she expects the kiosk expects stuff to be done, expects it to be clean and not messy, and if it is, then she'll hold you accountable to it. And she's had multiple talks with other employees about getting their work done and making sure everything is clean and locked up at the end of the night most of the time. Another manager that I had, he used to work at the store, and then he ended up quitting. He left the company. Um, Honestly, one of my favorite managers to have. He was very, he listened to what we needed as employees and how he understood how we worked and what we do daily. And he was mostly charismatic. He liked to motivate you into making you want to do your job, making you want to get it done on time. As in, when I used to work inside, I was a stalker and I would put stuff up on the shelves. And he understood that, once you finish everything off the truck and you finish the back stock, he knows that there's not much else for you to do other than just keep walking your department and facing it up, making sure it looks good. There's not stuff in the department that's not supposed to be there. And he understood that. He would always talk to you and make sure that you knew that once you're done, he doesn't expect you to sit here and keep working the same stuff over and over again, but he just doesn't want you to want to see you being lazy. What he would tell us all the time would be like, just walk to the department, make sure it looks good, and go back and just chill somewhere and just hang out. And then every now and then, just come back out, make sure everything's still looking good, make sure that everything's faced up, make sure everything's just in general, you're not being lazy. He was also, let's see, he was also servant. I would say he was also a servant leadership style. He wanted to involve everybody into the planning for the day. He would always come back, be like, okay, so who's going to be doing what? Get this done. When you're done, help this person. When y'all are done, help someone else. Just do whatever it is that you need to get done out of the way. And the faster you get it done, the faster you can just relax and take your time and not be lazy, but be not overwork yourself. He was also a pace setter. He wasn't laissez-faire. Oh yeah, he was a little bit laissez-faire, because being a manager, you have to walk around a store manager. You have to walk around, make sure every department is doing what they're supposed to be doing. So he would check with every department, make sure people are doing what they're supposed to be doing, and then he'll move on. And then he'll come back. He'll come back around and check on you again, and just make sure that really everyone is understanding what they have to do, but no one's in a disagreement or anything like that. He wasn't command and control, but he was honestly one of my favorite managers that I've ever had, just because of the way he treated everybody. And when he left, I was really sad, but at the same time, it happens. People don't want to stay with the same companies all the time, so they move on somewhere else. If I were to choose which leadership style that I would want to be, the main leadership style I would want to be would be laissez-faire, because I want to be able to trust my employees to do what they're supposed to be doing, and being able to give them feedback when needed. And any other leadership styles that I would want to have included would most likely be transformational and charismatic. I would want to be a charismatic leader as well. Those are the three leadership styles that I would want to be, and the managers that I've had have all been a mix between all of these. Have they all been great? No, I wouldn't say that they're all the best managers to have, but in a way, they're all effective on their own. Personally, I've had a manager that was just pure command and control, and it really just didn't help out that much with her around, because she was always just on somebody to do something, and every person really just grew to hate her. And even though she was the main manager, that's the kind of workplace that she wanted to have, the kind of pace she wanted to set. It really just burned a lot of people out. There was really just like new people moving in and out all the time, getting hired, quitting. Luckily, at the time, I only worked there for 2 months, but it was like in between summers of school and high school. So luckily, I was only there for 2 months, and I was able to get out of there after then, because that would not be a workplace that I would want to be in. So command and control would be a leadership style that I could not be around too much. So yeah, and that should be all for my presentation. Those two managers that I've had really have affected me the most, and made me think about what kind of leader I would want to be if I was ever in a management position or in charge of a team or something of that nature.